How's it going, ScrubGamers? Welcome back to another video here at Scrub Games, and today I'm going over my deck profile for Magician's Red Frieza that I took to the Scrub Games Webcam Locals last Friday. Ended up placing first at the end of it after going XO with it, and it is, as you know, if you've seen my video or talked to me before, you'll know that this is one of my favourite leaders that I played 4 months ago and have just loved, and just with every new set becomes new red cards to help make it more fun to play and a little bit better as time goes on. But before we get into the video where we're going to list, side deck and how to play it, I do want to say if you're not already subscribed, feel free to subscribed, feel free to do so. It helps you get updated with my videos as when they drop, especially if you hit that notification bell. That lets you know when my videos do drop so you can come and have a watch. And also, as I've mentioned before in other videos, I do a giveaway every 100 subs, and we're so close, so close, but not there yet, at 400 subs, which trigger never giveaway. So if you want to help trigger that, go ahead and subscribe if you're not already. And also, when I get to my main goal of 1,000 subs, I'll be doing a special thing, which I'll detail as we get close to it, because we're not even there halfway. Because, as I said, it's 1,000, and we're getting close to 400. So as we get closer, I will detail what that is, but you'll be sure it'll be enjoyable, and you'll want to see it, so help trigger that. And as well, like the video if you do enjoy it, if you don't like the list or like the content, it's much appreciated. And lastly, comment down below to see what you want to ask or anything you want to talk about. Feel free. So with this video, with this deck and this video, it's a deck profile, and it's going over all my favorite old leaders from set 6 all the way back then of Frieza BR. And if you get it, Magician's Red is because it's like a burn deck. Like you got a main strategy: get your opponent down to 1, burn that last life, which we'll see as we get as we go through the list. But it's an old one. It used to be, when it first came out, it used to be known as Frieza Prison because it had like a kind of prison-like strategy where you slam down your 8-drop when you get to turn 5, which has an effect, which means if your opponent wants to play any battle cards or certain, like up to 35k or 40 or something like that, if they want to play them lower than that that amount, well, that power, then they'd have to crit 4 life. So you get your opponent down to 4, drop that Frieza, now they can no longer play battle cards. You have to just defend their leader and keep slowly rolling down what they can't play. I think you basically lock them out the game, and then you've won. They can't really play anything. And over time, we've got slowly more and more and better cards, which make it easier to remove things. And since the 8-drop Frieza doesn't have power or anything, it's susceptible to removal. And nowadays we have very cheap removal, like things like Max Power Kamehameha, and even different cards now, like Unison stuff, and even leaders with effects to just remove battle cards like that. So the old thing of locking your opponent out, creating a prison so they can't do anything, lock them out of the game, is no longer viable. So the leaders moved on, but the strategy kind of has just withered away and isn't plausible anymore. But with every new set, we get new red cards, and with new red cards means new options for this deck to do, like to improve and be playable and be enjoyed. And that's what I've been doing every set. Like in the last 2 sets, we got some very nice, very strong cards for this, and I was just happy to be able to play it for the webcam locals and enjoy it. So you didn't know what the leader does? It's a set 6 one, so years and years ago we got this lead, and it's one of those ones with a deck building mechanic built in, that well, not mechanic, sorry, restriction, and that is you can't include battle cards which cost 3 or less in your deck. So just like a Janemba can't have any cards with energy cost 5 or more in the deck, you can't include battle cards with energy cost 3 or less, which, as you probably guessed it, meant back before we got support for this in anniversary boxes, you couldn't have super combos. So back then this was the first deck that could not physically play super combos, because most super combos are 2 cost or less, or like 2 cost or 1 cost, or even maximum up to 3 cost. So you couldn't play a super combo. It means you had a straight up disadvantage there, but you had a good strategy to play by locking them out of the game once you got to if it got to turn 5. And it was until recently we got a super combo. It doesn't draw, but it's still, so we're just happy to have a super combo for the deck, so we're not left out. So like, we're no longer the only deck without a super combo now. So we've got over that edge over some decks like, Yellow Bojack with no advantage whatsoever from Awakening. We've got a little bit of an edge there now, we got super combos. But it is very good because it doesn't have to enter combat to actually gain advantage, because on the front side you've got an activate main where once per turn you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, add 1 red extra card among them to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So on your leader's side you're still getting Awakening, and that's what the main thing of this deck is. It's just revolve around getting lots of extra cards, defend yourself, make use of them, and gain advantage that way. And on the Awakened side, the activate main to gain advantage is now once per turn draw 1. So front side you're searching for extra cards, Awakened side you're just once per turn drawing a card without attacking, just activate main, which is very nice, because it is nice nowadays to be able to draw before attacking. So if you want to see more cards before you enter combat and things like that, and I say if you get stopped from like locked out of attacking for a turn like Baby Hatch, it's nice to be able to still draw without needing to attack. It also does have an Awakening back from the set 1 days where you get 4 life, then you draw 2 and flip over. And you do have an never auto, but we're not going to go over that because it's not relevant in decks, there's no targets to fulfill it. So in all, it's nice of leader that straight off the bat, if you're going first, you get to gain advantage without needing to attack like most leaders do, and you're getting more cards as you're Awakening, and then you just every turn drawing a card for free using your leader. So if that sounds good already, then stay tuned because we've got more good things coming in this list. So we'll start off with the thing that it mainly revolves around, which is extra cards, which is what your leader gets on the front side. And the first one we're going to show is Wolfang Fist, because lo and behold, we play Unisons as deck, because red has some very, very powerful Unisons, and we play one of the best Unisons in the game currently. And if you're playing a Unison, you're normally playing the counter-attack, a free counter-attack from set 10 with it. The only colour you're probably not doing that in is likely blue, maybe yellow. Yellow's kind of maybe used a little bit more now, but blue is terrible. But red and greens are pretty good. Green being the best, red being probably second best, then yellow being alright and being used, but blue not so much. So we're playing 4 Wolfang Fist because you can play it for free, because like all the rest of them, if you've got a Unison you can play it to counter attack free. And what it does is just, if your leader's mono red, you choose on the attack, so counter attack, you choose when the opponent's attacking battle card or leader card, ignoring barrier at minus 15k. So if they're attacking with a battle card, it's minus 15k, it's gone, minus 0, game mechanic flings it off, and it gets through barrier as well, and it's just nice way to help defend, and for free as well once you drop a Unison. Then we've got 3 copies of Parasite Technique, which is exclusive to red Frieza army leaders, which there is like I think 3 including this one. Maybe more, but I think it is just free. And it's a nice one because it actually negates the attack unlike Wolfang Fist, but you can play it for free, which is a 1 cost. But you essentially negate the attack, and if your leader is a red Frieza army, which ours is, you choose all your opponent's leader cards and battle cards minus 5k for the turn. So you not only, it's really good against decks that go wide, because you negate that first attack and minus all their cards, including their leader, well, all their battle cards, including their leader, by 5k for the turn to make it easier to defend. Because when they're all 5k less and you're Awakened, it makes it a little bit easier. And we play 3 copies of it because it's a great negate, because it actually negates the attack and makes it easier for the rest of the defend the rest of the attacks. So yeah, play 3. And we play 3 instead of 4 because you've actually got to pay an energy for this. But it's not to worry, you can play this for free, which you'll see in a bit. Then we got 2 cease to exist. In every deck profile I always emphasise that every deck needs barrier removal, because there are some cards, like sure they're mainly in yellow, but there's some cards that are really annoying to deal with, and they're either stay in active mode so you can't attack into them, or they're that you can attack into them but they're defended heavily because they restrict you so much. And this is probably one of the best ways, and a searchable way, as since the leader searches for extra cards, to deal with that, because it's got an activate main. It does cost 3, but still freeze fair for what it does. If your leader card's red, you choose up to 2 of your opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier, and minus them with 25k for the turn. And that's great because 25k is enough to minus them down to 0, and then they're removed by game mechanic. And going for barrier, this is great, and in fact it hits 2 instead of 1 is actually really, really helpful. And if you don't want to use it for that, it can be used defensively as well, because you can use activate battle to choose up to 1 of your leader cards or battle cards and give it 5k power for the battle, and the permanent allows you to use this for free whenever you want to. Because it basically says you can play this card's activate battle skill without paying its energy cost. So it's not just barrier removal, it's also defense if you need to. It's got dual uses, or a charge. Then we've got 2 copies of Violent Rays, a great floodgate negate. Basically negate the attack, and then you can discard a card to either make all your opponent's battle cards with 2k or more for the turn, not able to attack, or your opponent's Unisons with 2k or more power, not able to attack. So it's very versatile and a very good card, and once again searchable. Then we have 3 copies of Astro Image Technique. as you've seen so far, we haven't got any self-awakening, so we're relying on your opponent down to get you down to 4 to flip over. And a nice way to help you do that while also defending and being cheap is after image technique. It can be played for free because it's permanent, where if you've got 5 in your drop, you can activate it without paying energy cost by taking a life instead. And its counter attack is basically you give your leader, or you give one of your cards, so Unison, leader, battle card, 4k for that battle, 40k for that battle, so a huge chunk of combo power, or a huge chunk of power for that battle. And then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards, and they get minus 10k power for the turn. So you get 40k for the battle, and then minus 10 of theirs, that's in the battle area, by 10k for the turn. That's really nice. And we only play free because it's not the best one like for this strategy. Like sure, it's amazing for U7, but in this it's just helpful to be a searchable card, help with self-awakening, and help deal with battles like tool swings a lot easier. Then we have 4 copies of one of the newer cards. That's made this deck a little bit nicer, and that's Realm of the Gods Ultra Instinct. Every color got one of these in set 16. The only ones that aren't great potentially is the green one because it's a worse version of Cell's Earth Destroying Kamehameha, technically, and the black one isn't as great because you've got other cards that do the kind of same thing and a little bit better, a little bit nicer as well. And this one's just great because if you lead a card and all your energy are red, which they'll be, there's only red cards in this deck. You choose one of your cards. Choose up to one of your cards and it gains 10k power for the battle. And you get one other effect based on whose turn it is. So if it's your turn, you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards that has a greater energy cost than their energy and minus it by 30k. Doesn't give for a barrier, but still it's a nice little bit of removal. But you can mainly be using it for the effect that gets in your opponent's turn, which is you choose one of your cards, or you draw a card, and then you choose one of your cards and it gets 5k power for the battle. So it's essentially for 1 energy a 15k draw 1. So where normal people would just go swing at your leader, super combo to 25, knowing that you need to super combo the draw card and still combo out the loser card by coming 5k extra. Our super combo doesn't draw, which we'll see in a bit. So this is a great way to just, if they go 25, which most of the time is a sweet spot, you can just go for 1 energy, out combo super combo attack, and still replace the cards. You've lost nothing that combo attack, you just paid 1 energy. So we play full 4 copies of this because this is just a fantastic card and nice being searchable. Then we've got 3 copies of Testing the Opposition. So every colour, thankfully now black has one, has a token negate, and these are fantastic because not only do they negate 1 attack, they negate 2 attacks because you need the initial attack, then you play a token that has blocker. So you can negate attack, then get a token to then block another attack, which is great. And once again, it can all be played for free because it also has a similar permanence to After Image Technique. But you don't have to have 5 cards in your drop for Sparking 5. You need to have 5 or less life, and then you can play it by taking a life. Play it by taking a life instead of playing its cost. So once you're 5 or less, which is a great time because a lot of time in the game people try to get you from 5 to 3 to push, like, to take away more life from you, and it's a perfect way if they try to do that to say no, I want to go to 4, so I'm going to negate attack, take a life, and play a token blocker. And the great thing about these ones, because this is exclusive to the token's a little bit different for each colours. For blue and yellow, you get a 10k token, but it has no combo power. But for red, green, and black, you get a 5k token, but it has 5k combo power. So if you don't use it to block on that turn, you can use it in future to combo or attack with, mainly combo in this case. You can play full 3 copies because it's searchable, but you don't want to keep taking your life just to use this. But it's 3 is enough number to see it when you need it. Then the last extra card we got is Cab's Awakening. This is another card that's very useful when your opponent attacks you and goes 5k over what your base is. So if you're a 15k leader and your opponent attacks to 20k, normally it takes a super combo or 2 5ks. In this case, you just go Cab's Awakening, which basically the effect of it is activate battle, choose one of your red cards, so it affects leaders, unisons, or battle cards, and gives you 6k power for that battle. So when your opponent goes up to 5k, thinking you're going to have to combo off 2 cards or use a super combo, you go, no, I'm going to use this non-super combo of Cab's Awakening and out combo it. So it's like a pseudo 10k essentially. And that's all for the extra cards. So a good chunk of them, because a leader can switch from the front side, and because we run so many, it's very, very unlikely you're going to whiff. It may happen, but it's very, very unlikely. And our next card we got is a Unison, which is a great one from the newest set, which is Baby Juvenile Parasite. Now this is amazing because of the fact that it does a lot for it, and it's kind of the same thing that it does for the Bulba deck. So its first permanent, which is very nice, is if your leader card is red and all your energy is in rest mode, your leader gains 1k power for the turn. So that's fantastic, because sometimes your opponent might go, for some decks they go wide 15k, just keep chipping at you, because if they swing at you with 15, you have to take it or combo a card, and most of the time just combo out by 5k, you're not be replacing that card, so you could be losing cards that survive. This is nice and make it 16k, so they have to combo up, and then at least that way they're not just going 15 into 15. They have to combo and lose cards. At least that way, if you're comboing out of a 20k attack or more, they're losing card while you're losing one as well. It makes it easier to defend boards that go wide for 15ks. And then another permanent, make it harder to get rid of this by, if this card would lose a marker by battle, it can attach a card from underneath it. And you're wondering, how does it card underneath it? Well, there's two ways to do that, but we'll go over this way first and we get into the never way later on, and that is, well, there's three ways technically actually. I just realised there's three. So there's the way that all users have, where you can put, if you've got one on the board, you can put never copy the same unison from your hand underneath the card to give it a marker, so you can do that way, so that really helps this baby unison. And the second way, because we're going to see the third way in a bit, is by using its +1, which is an activate main when you let you draw one, and then you choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards and put under this card, and then it gains 10k for the turn. So you get three great effects. You're drawing a card, giving you more advantage. It's absorbing one of your opponent's threats on their board, battle cards, just taking hold of it. It doesn't take things for barrier, but that would be bust if it did. And then you become a 20k, so you actually become a threat to attack with, not so much on defense. So this is a fantastic card. So normally, as soon as you play it, you're going for three markers to 4, and you've got a card underneath it, because hopefully you've taken something. So technically it's like you have 5 markers on it, because you can use that card that's attached underneath it to save a marker by battle, which is really good. So this is gonna, once this comes down, hopefully by turn 3, it's gonna be hard to get rid of. Now we go to the battle cards. So first up is our super combo that we finally got after quite a few sets after this card being released, and that is King Cold Blessing the Clan. It's not a draw super combo, so you're not getting the draw from this, but it does have another useful effect, which is actually alright for what we get, and it goes well with the theme. So it's a super combo. It does also have a permanent where if it will leave the combo error, it's removed from the game instead. An odd choice, but hey, we got a super combo finally. But it does have an auto. Now the requirements to activate this auto is it's limit 1, meaning you can activate this effect once across all copies of the card for a turn. So you get this effect once a turn, no matter how many times you use a super combo. You also need to have this specific leader. You also need to be at 3 or less life, and it needs to be your opponent's turn. So very heavy restrictions, but it's what you're going to be mainly using it for. You're mainly going to be using it in your opponent's turn. You're going to mainly be using it with this leader, and 3 or less life. That kind of sucks, but yeah, we'll get what we're given. And once you feel that condition, then basically the auto is when this card is used in the combo from your hand, the next time you would use a mono red extra card with original energy cost of 3 or less, you can reduce its cost by 1 red for the 1 red. So essentially, as soon as you combo this, the next extra card you use out of any of these extra cards is used by one energy. And because it specifies red, like we saw with Mecha Frieza, it doesn't reduce the cost down by 1, it reduces the specified cost as well. So essentially, this Parasite technique, this Violent Rays, and this Realm of the Gods Ultra Instinct become free after you've if it's the next extra card you use after using this super combo from your hand, where you're at 3 life in your opponent's turn, then you get to use it for free, which is very, very nice. Especially helpful to when you're at 3 life to help combo out of tall attacks from your opponent. And of course, because of the super combo, we're going to play 4 copies because every deck plays 4 super combos. Then we have one of the cards I'm going to actually bump up to 4. I'm definitely going to bump up to 4 because this card's just amazing. So it's got Deflect, meaning your opponent can't stop it from coming down. It has Barrier, so it means it's going to be hard to interact with. And already those 2 keyword skills are skills that should not be on the same card ever, but Bandai seem to do it. It's something I don't agree on, but they still print them, so it can't be stopped from coming down, it's hard to interact with. It has Double Strike, it's also a 4 cost 20k, so on par with most 4 cost 20ks. And as I said, this leader has a deck building restriction, meaning you can't play 3 cost or less. And then, so like mainly you're playing battle cards after you've dropped your unison on turn 4 and onwards. And not only that, but it can't be blocked either, because its permanent says if your leader's red, your opponent can't activate blocker skills in response to this card's attack, so it can't be stopped from coming down, can't be hard to interact with, has Double Strike, can't be blocked, And also, it's got 2 autos. Now the second one is the main thing, which it makes it even worse, because as I said, it can't be stopped from coming down, hard to interact with, can't be blocked, and you're not going to want to negate its attack, because the second auto has a cost where you add 1 card from your life to your hand. When this card's attack is negated, you deal 1 damage to your opponent. So if you put your opponent down to 1 and you swing a lead, you have to combo out of it, because you can't block it, and if you do negate the attack, you're going to be losing that life as long as they've got at least 2 life left. And not only that, it also adds markers to Unison because of its Ever Out auto, which is once per turn. If your leader card's red, when it attacks, you choose one of your Unison cards and add a marker to it. So you're just gaining. So if you got this and then if you got Baby Unison turn 3 and then this after, you're just keeping the markers high on your Unison, and it's going to be almost impossible for them to get rid of it. So you can have a Unison for life, because once you get to a certain amount of markers, with how defensive the Baby is, they're going to leave that alone and just focus on your leader and your rest of battle cards. So I'm going to ump this to 4 because it's such a fantastic card. And then we've got cards, our Floodgate Negate, to help us survive longer, and that is Topo. So this is a nice one to help make sure you can go from turn 2 to 3, because normally if you feel like you can't get to turn 2 from 2 to 3, this is a nice card to help you make sure you can. And it's one of those floodgates that really isn't affected by Vegeta's Resolve Renew, because red is a really popular colour this format, and that is a card that's shutting down Floodgate Negates, and luckily this being a 20k means it isn't effective. And just to make sure, just in case anybody's new is watching this, it's a Floodgate because its counter attack is basically pay 2, because its permanent reduces by 2 in your opponent's turn. Negate the attack, discard a card, negate the attack, play this card, and then its auto makes it so if it's playing your opponent's turn, your opponent can't attack for the rest of the turn unless they discard 2 cards each time they attack after this card is played. So that's why it essentially shuts down most turns after you play it. And we play 3 copies because you want to try and, if you really need it, you want to try and see it by turn 2 to make sure you get the turn 3 for the Baby Unison. And then we've got a card that I was trying out, but I feel like I'm going to take out the 2 for King Piccolo, 5 seconds to Eradication, and that is SSB Vegeta at full power. Now, people might say that you can't actually play this in this, but you can, because the permanent means it can't be played from any area with an evolved skill. Hardcasting is not an evolved skill, so you can still hardcast it. It also has Deflect and Double Strike, so the only card that doesn't have Deflect in this deck is the Topo, and the last card we'll see, which is the Spice. And it has some nice autos which I thought would be relevant, but they're not like great. It's really up. I actually will switch that for 2 more King Piccolos. And the idea was the first auto is when it's in rest mode, when your opponent plays a battle card or attacks with a battle card, it loses 1k power. You can choose it and make it lose 1k power. So if your opponent wants to play something and attack with it, it's going to be losing 2k. Or if they think it's already on board and it attacks, it's going to be losing 10k. And the Ever auto is very nice to make it so if you do plop it down, they're going to not want to try and get rid of it by skills and have to try to attack into it, which is already what its first auto is difficult. And that is when it's removed from your battle area by an opponent's skill, you choose one of the cards in the life and put it in the drop area. So kind of burn a life if they're trying to get rid of it. Now, 5 is still expensive to play, so I'd rather just keep it down to King Piccolo, like just replace this for 2 King Piccolo, but still, it was a nice idea, I feel. And then our secret rare, every colour has technically now got the best secret rare. Red has this, yellow has the Piccolo and Gohan, blue has Baby Hatch, undisputedly Baby Hatch is any blue deck. Green has quite a few pretty good ones. It's got the counter Boo absorbed. It's got the Boo Kai absorbed as like a Baby Hatch, essentially, almost. And then it's got the Ape as well. That Sauce and Spice of the World Champs. And then Black's got quite a few good generic ones that can be used, not just in Black but any one, like Pan and Kai. So there's lots of good secret rares. Every colour's got their best one and really good ones. And this is just the best one for red. Because Gohanks is nice, but you don't really want to be replacing a Baby Unison that can't be removed for a new Unison unless you really think you can kill them. Where this Vegeta is really nice just to make it easier to opponent kill them. If you get really late into the game, be able to have a dual attacking triple striker, which is very nice with Deflect. Or just using it as a 4G, make your opponent's leader 5k to make it easier to push, while also wiping their board, including Unison, is fantastic. And also creating a life, so if you get so once again, as I said, this deck just wants to get down to 1 energy, 1 life, and then you can finish the job with either this or a last card. Then we've got another really good card that came in at the same set as Baby the baby unison, being Galactic Explorer, SS Goku, SS Trunks, and Pan. Now this is a fantastic one with many effects, and let's have a look at them. So we'll go from the first one to the last one, then the first and the second. And once again, it's also got Deflect. So the last one is basically limit once. You can only activate, just like the super combo, activate one of these effects across all copies of the card per turn. And that is to choose one of your unison cards with 10k power or more, place this card under it, and give it from your hand or battle area and give it a marker. So you get essentially play this card from your hand or battle area under unison, give it a marker once a turn across all copies of the card. And then you can play it back out from unison. That's the reason you put under there, because you can play it back out by paying 3 red for the first activate main when you're at 4 or more energy. And then you get to play it from your under unison. So essentially, you use the third activate main to put on your lead, put under unison, then play it out for 3 energy using the first activate main. And then you've got the nice activate main, that's the second one, which is the once per turn, by using Spirit Boost 3, taking off 3 markers from unison. That's why we pile up on a lot of markers on it. And it allows you to choose all your opponent's battle cards and minus them by 30k for the turn, and then give this card triple attack. So he's just so good. And the only one that's limit 1 or really only able to use once is the last one. So this is a very nice card where you can potentially get 6 attacks out of it when you get to turn 6. It's great. And just every turn after turn 3, once you hit turn 4 and onwards, every turn you can try and get 3 attacks for 30k out of this. Every turn we're also making sure they're minusing their board by 30k constantly. And minusing is very good because this one unique thing red has to bypass indestructible, which not many other colours have. And of course we play 4/4 copies because this is just a really good card, and it's also a 0 cost 5k if you need it. The only card that isn't a 0 cost 5k is this Vegeta. Then we've got another card that's helpful, being the Son Goku Divine Presence. This is a nice one to help defend a little bit easier because of its skills. So it's also Deflect with dual attack, so you can get a bit of pressure then. It's got a permanent where during your turn it can't be removed from your battle area, which is a nice thing to do. You don't want to be swinging in for game and your opponent getting rid of your card. That's a bummer. And it's brought out cheaper because of Activate Battle, where for 2 red energy, if you have 3 or more, by paying 2 red, if you've got 3 or more energy, and you have 2 or more mono red battle cards in your combo area, you can play this from your hand and then choose one of your red cards to get 2k power for the 5k power for the turn. So you can give that to your leader or another battle card or unison if you want to. And this is not during a specific turn. If it's your opponent's turn or your turn, just when you play this, as long as you've got 3 or more, as long as you meet those conditions of having 3 or more energy, paying 2 red and have 2 or more mono red battle cards in your combo area, you can play this out. So you can do it defensively to give your leader 5k power for the turn to make it harder for them to kill you, or do it offensively to pressure by either giving it itself or whenever you have a red cards 5k power for the turn. And then it's got an auto where essentially the only relevant part for this deck is when it attacks, it gains 5k power for the turn. So essentially, any time it's just swinging, gain 5k, and on the turn you then play it. If you choose itself to get the 5k to, you become a 30k dual. You can play a 30k dual attacker on the turn it's played, and every turn after that is a 25 dual attacker every turn, which is really great. So we play 3 copies of this because it just gives us more cards to combo to get this out, and it's at least a 0 cost 5k, so it's not dead in your hand. There's no card that's really dead in your hand in this deck most of the time. Then the last card, and the little bit of spiciness we have, is the SS3 Nappa Say Might. And this is another reason why we're only trying to get your opponent down to 1 energy, because you've got a few effects that burn. So if you get your opponent down to 1, well not 1 energy, sorry, 1 life, you can finish them off with this, which SS3 Nappa Say Might is one of the ISRs back from set 7, which are basically cards that you can't play if you have cards in any public area that aren't the same colour as it. So since we're playing only red cards, this is playable at any point. There's at least a 0 cost 5k at the very least, and its effect is when you play it, you choose 1 card in your opponent's life and place it in the drop area. So I'll actually crit that last life. And that's how I finish off 1 game in the tournament on Friday. So now the turn breaking progression with this deck. Essentially, you're not doing anything until you get turn 3. You're essentially mulligan in to try and find your baby unison as a party. If you do have a super combo, you can keep all of that to make it easier to swing out of early quick swings to make sure you don't lose, say, your secret rare from your life. But you're mainly mulliganing to try and find your baby unison, and always putting back any extra cards you find because your leader on your front side can look for them once per turn up until you awaken. And essentially, yeah, you're just trying to mulligan for your unison, and then turn 1 and turn 2, you're basically looking for, look at the top 5, trying to find an extra card to grab that, and defending if you need be. If you need to get from turn 2 or 3 and you want a bit of help, you can always try and mulligan or keep over topo to help make sure that happens. But if you can get there safely enough, you want to get turn 3, play the baby unison down every turn until you awaken. Well, unless if you're not awakened, you're searching for an extra card and then drawing a card from baby, but also absorbing their battle cards to make it easier to manage their board. And if you're awakened, you're drawing 2 cards by leader and unison, also clearing their threats in the battle area. And then after that, if you still have turn 3, which should be easier with baby unison, then you get to turn 4, and then you start playing either not playing battle cards and defending with your extra cards, or you're dropping some big threats like the the Galactic Explorers, the King Piccolo, defending with Toppo or Goku, and then getting them down to 1 life to either finish them with the secret rare, or wipe the board with the secret rare, and then finish them with a Nappa to just burn them for 4. The only time you're not really using Nappa is against blue if they play. If you know they play the God Ceiling. Outside of that, you're just going to be playing this to, or any other counterplay that you feel can definitely stop this, which isn't too much that I remember for 4 cost or more. And that's temperate, and then you just trying to go late, like you would like this is a late get deck. It's not an early deck. It's a very late game deck to just grind out for advantage and hit them with big annoying threats. And then for the side deck, we've got some cards that the only difference from this side deck to what I run was I didn't have 3 copies of Exploiting Weakness. I thought I did, but it turned out I only had 2. So I replaced it with Flight of the Grand Eagle, just in case I need it for any big swing any deck would want to go against me. Because you get that card for 1 energy, counter attack gives your leader 100k for that battle, make it easier if your opponent tries to go in with a really tall swing, combo that easier. Then we've got Final Guardian, the Respect Invoker, to make sure that if they do get rid of this a negate, we've got a negate on hand to use at any point for when they drop an Apex. Karin's Tower, Secret Medicine, to help deal with those annoying 1-drop 5k barrier cards that just annoy you, or that integral to someone's strategy, like say AOD is the best example. And also if you need to help against a board of that goes wide for 15ks, using this to gain a 5k in your opponent's turn and being searchable is fantastic. Then we've got Deathbeam. This is a nice one for if any swing goes tall. This allows you to put a 25k power difference between them by giving your card, or your battle card or leader card 15k for the battle, and minusing one of your opponent's battle card or leader cards by 10k for that battle as well. So this is a nice way to, especially with the super combo, be a super combo and then place free using the super combos auto to put a big difference, be a very tall swing. And then if you're going against decks that spam things by effects, you have the Vegito Unison, because if it's -2, like the +1 is just mainly a draw card. If you can't physically pay cards that meet the requirement of 2 cost less. But it's the -2, which is great because it makes it so until the end of your opponent's next turn, if they want to play things by skills, it gives a drop area instead. So they basically, if they're a deck that revolves around playing by skills, you can just hold them off for this. And then we've got, and given the amount of unison, the marker additions you can get with like the GT Goku and stuff, you can just kind of keep this live when you get to turn 4 when you drop it. And especially in combination with Piccolo and the Goku GT, you keep the markers high to keep doing that over and over again, lock them out of the game from playing effects, where you just hit them with big things and can still play things by effect and defend them quite easy as well. And then if you get to, there's another way to finish the game once again by just getting down to 1 by using the -5, where if your opponent doesn't have any battle cards in play, you deal damage to them. So another way to end the game. Then we've got the 4th Toppo if need be if you're going against aggressive decks, and then some copies of SS3 for cheated exploiting weaknesses. So if the opponent gets a deck that's going wide, or plays big, or is building up a board to go wide, you can drop this to -20k their board. And it's 2 cost less during your opponent's turn, so it's a 3 cost technically, not a 5 cost. And also, as well as minus your opponent's board by 20k, it also gives you 5k on your leader for the turn. This is very nice. And that's it for the deck. If you do want to check out how I did with it and my gameplay from Friday, feel free to check out my stream upload that I post on Monday. You can watch it on my channel, or it could pop up in a little thing at the end of the video. But apart from that, feel free to like the video if you enjoyed this. Subscribe if you haven't, to help us get to 400 and to my main goal of 1,000 subs, and also comment below if there's any questions you have. I've been ScrubGames, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.